Well, I guess you'll be happy to know that Jesus has left Sychar in Samaria, and now he's in Galilee. But we're still in John 4. I want to read John 4, starting with verse 46. Therefore he came to Cana of Galilee, remember the wedding feast, where he had made the water wine, and there was a royal official whose son was sick at Capernaum. Personally, probably a Gentile, but we don't know that for sure. When he heard that Jesus had come out of Judea into Galilee, he went to him and was imploring him to come down and heal his son, for he was at the point of death. So Jesus said to him, basically in the hearing of the Galileans who had trouble believing in him, unless you people, more than one person, see signs and wonders, you simply will not believe. Remember, the very first miraculous sign that he did was right there in Cana of Galilee. So he's come back to where he had turned the water into wine. The royal official said to him, Sir, come down before my child dies. Jesus said to him, Go, your son lives. Just like that. Look at the authority. The man believed the word that Jesus spoke to him and started off. As he was now going down, his slaves met him, saying that his son was living. So he inquired of them the hour when he began to get better, and they said, Yesterday at the 7th hour he began to get better. The fever left him, and the father knew it was at that hour in which Jesus had said, Your son lives. He himself believed in his whole household. This is again a second sign that Jesus performed when he came out of Judea into Galilee. Turned water into wine and just said the word, and a son was healed. Look at the comparison between the unbelief of the people of Galilee and the simplicity of the belief of the people of Samaria. All they had to go on initially was just the word of a woman who had kind of a reputation. But it was sincere, and that's all it took. Remember the unbelief of Nathanael, where he said, Can anything good come out of Nazareth? And then he told Jesus, How did you know me? And Jesus said, Well, when you were under the fig tree, I saw you. So all Nathanael had to go on was, Jesus knew I was under a fig tree. And he said, You're the King of Israel. You're the Son of God. That's all Nathanael in his unbelief needed to switch him over to belief. And then you got Thomas. 10 of the remaining 11 apostles said, We have seen the Lord. And he didn't take their word for it. Yeah. Unbelief seems to never have enough proof. True faith doesn't really need a whole lot. So, in John chapter 6, verse 30, guess what we've got? Galileans again. In the city in which he was raised. And he has just fed the 5,000 on one side of the Sea of Galilee, and he goes over to the other side now, and some of these people are there, and he tells them, now you need to desire the bread that comes down of heaven instead of physical bread. And they said, well, our fathers got manna in the wilderness. And Jesus said, well, that's not the kind of bread I'm talking about. I'm the bread of life that came down out of heaven. Okay? Now, Galilee, where he turned water into wine, where he simply said the word and healed the official's son, and he has just finished on the other side of the Sea of Galilee feeding 5,000 people with 5 loaves and 2 fish. The fish weren't that big. Of course, I've caught some bigger. But anyway, the fish weren't that big. So what are we talking about? Not enough proof, because listen to what they said. What will you do for a sign that we may see and believe? What work will you perform? Excuse me, is there a Hebrew word for duh? How about 3? Water into wine, heal the official's son, and you just ate bread on the other side of the Sea of Galilee. Sign? How many more signs do you need to have? Yeah, for crying out loud. Okay. But some people insist that God has to answer all their questions and do everything that they think God ought to do before they're going to believe in him. And guess what? If you don't want to believe, you never have enough signs. If you do want to believe, you got it. Have a great day.